Hello, welcome back to the Cricket Nerds. We are talking about the IPL because it's currently the IPL, and we've had a lot of games recently. It's been an awesome weekend, lots of very close games, some high scoring ones as well, all sorts, everything you love about the IPL, and we're going to talk about it today. So, the last time we talked about a game was on Wednesday. So Thursday's game was Punjab Kings versus the Gujarat Titans. And to spare you getting a full in-depth analysis from every game and us having a 3 hour long podcast, which I'm sure some people are there for,
Yeah.
we're just kind of going to do a brief overview in terms of who were the heroes and villains for us from each game. So we'll start with Punjab Kings versus Gujarat Titans. James, your beloved Punjab lost this one, unfortunately.
Yeah,
Um,
it did. It was
mm,
yet another kind of, well, we tend to have them relatively often in a season where we'll just have the odd batting collapse.
mm,
It's just part of the Punjab brand. So, I knew it would happen eventually. And yeah, for this one, everybody in the Punjab lineup was pretty much a villain. But there was one hero, and it links on quite nicely to a game that we're going to talk about in a little bit, the second Punjab game that we'll talk about, where Shahrukh Khan was the one sort of hero from Punjab side, other than the bowlers, where he got 22 off 9,
mm.
which was an outstanding finish because from being in a pretty dire situation, Punjab managed to scrape 153, which
Yep.
actually turned out to be a relatively interesting total. But biggest hero of the overall match, which I think you want to talk about as well, is Mohit Sharma, who after
Yeah.
I think quite a long hiatus from T20 cricket, he then came back with a bang. And when everybody else was, not finding it too easy, he was absolutely brilliant on the Mahali pitch, which was a relatively difficult track as it turned out.
Yeah.
Just bowling that perfect like back of a length. He's so consistent with it and getting a bit of movement as well. I thought it was brilliant.
Yeah, he's not played for a few years in the IPL. And even when he last appeared in the IPL, he was already quite experienced and but he was accurate, doesn't go for many runs, gets quite a few wickets. I think at one IPL he was one of the top wicket takers as well. So a very good pickup from the Gujarat Titans to add to their strong lineup. But yeah, he looked very good. He's just very calm under pressure, I think, and he bowled very well. I think as well there was another hero from the Gujarat Titans in terms of Shubman Gill, who is very solid at the top of the order, a bit villainous in that he wasn't able to finish the game off. I think they were looking for that, and I think that's the next string to Shubman Gill's bow in that he's a very good young cricketer. He's proving himself. He's having a great breakout year, and I think it's just adding that extra bit of finishing the games. People are saying he's the next Kohli. Kohli, he went through this stage of being able to finish games. It's time for Shubman Gill to have his, I think. Um, but yeah, they made it interesting, the Gujarat Titans. But it was very good bowling from Punjab, and they've got a very good bowling attack with not many weak links. I think if Rahul Chahar was bowling well, then you'd be in a great position.
Yeah.
Because that's your one thing is that leg spin or mystery spin aspect.
Yeah, I absolutely agree. Because Rahul Chahar, I think he does have a high ceiling, and we saw it in early in his career, with Mumbai, where there were times where he was absolutely unplayable because he does bowl
Mm,
the sort of faster, flatter off breaks.
yep.
But and he's only 23, so it does that is worth bearing in mind that Punjab have got a pretty much their whole bowling attack will mature and they will
Mm,
grow in time. The only person that's in the sort of Punjab bowling attack at the moment is Sikandar Raza, who probably won't play that much more cricket going forward because he's 36 now. But yeah, I thought everybody was brilliant. Kagisa Rabada, he's a villain for me. And I'm going to tell you
okay.
why. Because going into sort of last IPL when we first picked him up and things like that, we were saying that we've got really good death bowling because we've got Arshdeep Singh and we've got Kagisa Rabada. And then when we picked up Sam Curran, we were like, we've got three of the best death bowlers, and we've also got Nathan Ellis, so 4 of the best death bowlers in world
really
cricket.
good.
But Kagisa Rabada in recent years has actually kind of lost his death bowling prowess that he had when he was at Delhi. And I think it's because he's scared of the Yorker. And we've had some CNQs about this in the past where, like, why are people not bowling Yorkers? Why are the Yorkers not in fashion? And it's because if you miss the Yorker, you're going to get smacked. And with somebody, when you've got as much pace as Kagisa Rabada has, you don't have to be hit very hard, or you don't have to be hit by a very strong batter for it to go for a boundary. So at the death, I tend to see Kagisa Rabada bowling more back of a length and short deliveries that can then get tap. So that is an area of kind of improvement for Rabada, who is a very good opening overs and middle overs bowler now. So, I mean, Punjab don't necessarily need it, but it is an area that we could do with.
Well, that's what I was thinking. Does he actually need to bowl at the death, given, as you've said, Punjab have some very good death bowlers? And Sam Curran, he bowled a very good last over.
Oh, it's incredible.
I think he was defending 7 runs, and he bowled Shubman Gill with an absolute amazing delivery. And then, that was kind of it, because Rahul Tewatia came in, and Rahul Tewatia doesn't know how to not finish a game.
Against Punjab as well.
Kings as well. Yeah.
He loves playing against Punjab.
Yeah, he's a very good banker for Gujarat Titans in that role, along with David Miller, who's experienced. He's the glue that holds Gujarat Titans middle order together, in my opinion. Because when he comes in, he's hard to dismiss, and he plays very well. We're going to talk about these teams again, because they've played games since that one. So let's move on to Sunrisers versus KKR, which was the high-scoring affair. And it was the game that we saw Harry Brook finally make his name as an IPL star, hitting a century of 55 deliveries. And it was very good to watch, especially as an England fan.
It was. It's really nice to see him do well, because he was struggling. I think there was a bit of paycheck, what's it called, pressure.
Yeah.
He obviously you get bought as a big ticket item in the auction. You realize that teams have very limited funds, so they are putting a lot of I don't know, trust in your abilities. And for Harry Brook, I think it was weighing on his mind a little bit, but it was nice to see him kind of let it free, and very, very ably supported by the other 2 3 heroes of the match, Markram, Abhishek Sharma, and Heinrich Klaassen, 3 players I really highly rate. One thing I did notice was Harry Brook in the post-match interview was like, and there were a few Indian fans slagging me off, so it was nice to shut them up. that did not go down well with a lot of Indian fans, because I think they took it personally. As soon as you said India fans, it's then, well, you're talking about 1.3 billion people there. You're done messed up. So I think it wasn't what he intended.
No.
But if he carries on scoring hundreds for Sunrisers, I'm pretty sure it'll be water under the bridge soon.
I think Harry Brook's mindset is brilliant for cricket. Like, we saw when he scored his century, there wasn't like any massive celebration. It wasn't like, oh, I've struggled so far in the IPL, and now I've finally got a century, so I'm going to celebrate wildly. There wasn't any of that, and we kind of seen that in the Test arena as well, where he just scores a century, raises his bat, raises his helmet, and then carries on. And I don't know if it's that Bazball mentality almost, that you just get the job done. The numbers don't really say much. Yes, I got a century, but I've put my team into a winning position, and that's the most important thing. Seeing him bat well at the top of the order, and then given the amazing middle order that Sunrisers have, they're probably going to start fulfilling their potential that we set them out to do at the start of the tournament. But just a word for the bowlers today, because it wasn't easy bowling for anyone. Sunderland Narayan was the only one who looked dangerous, really. Spare a thought for the bowlers on that day,
especially pace bowlers
with 205. Especially pace bowlers. They went the distance. Lockie Ferguson bowled it as fast as he could, but then obviously it pings off the bat when you're trying to do that. And
Brook, obviously, he was struggling against spin, so the fact that everybody around him, first of all, was able to just knock the spin around, took the pressure off him, But then,
Yeah.
oh, you would not like to be a pace bowler like against Harry Brook in that game.
No,
It looked
no.
pretty miserable. And like you say, it was a pretty good fight from KKR, I thought,
Yeah.
especially losing Ramanullah Gurbaz for a 3-ball duck, which, you know, as a Punjab fan, I can attest it doesn't make a game any easier when you're losing consistent wickets in the first over.
Yeah.
Um,
Well, they were
one,
3 for 20, and then they were 5 for 96, and they
yeah,
managed to get 205 for 7, which is, yeah, it's very good going, isn't it?
yeah, and my boy Rinku
Oh
Singh,
yeah,
the guy's a rock star. Like, it doesn't matter that he's now he potentially has peaked in his career, you know, getting that 28 off the over. That he's still playing ridiculously well. And I think maybe it's the mindset that Harry Brook has as well, where
mm.
you don't let the highs get you too high and you don't let the lows get you too low. You're relatively balanced and level in your mindset the whole way through. And, you know, Rahul Tewatia, he's known as the Iceman. He's cool. Rinku Singh, I think he's pretty cool as well. Harry Brook,
Yeah,
he's got a cool head. So these people they are, yeah, cool, calm, and collected. Mayank Markandi was probably the hero,
yeah,
other
he's
than
looking
Harry
good
Brook
actually.
for the, yeah, he's been consistently good, especially against
Mm.
left-handers.
Yeah,
Because I think Jagadisan is a left-hander at least, but I know when
yeah,
he was playing against Punjab, we can lay a bat on him, and he's bowling leg breaks that almost slide past. So he's bowling over the wicket to left-handers, and it's just sort of skidding on a bit, and it's just really hard because the left-handed batters almost have to play across the line. He's very,
yeah.
very accurate as well.
I, I think having him bowl well is good for Sunrisers' balance because uh, I love Adil Rashid. I think he's great, and he's a better leg spinner than Markani, in my opinion. However, if he was to play because Markani wasn't bowling very well, then that would force Marco Janssen out of the team. And for me, they need Marco Janssen. He's a very strong overseas option who will bowl well at the death and in the opening overs. So yeah, they need to have that spinner bowling well to allow for a better balance. But yeah, I thought that Kolkata Knight Riders fought back very well. They've just got a few top order problems. Gurbaz isn't firing as well as they probably would have liked. However, they have got Lytton Das and Jason Roy in the squad, so they're not bad replacements to have in case they need them. But we're going to talk about Kolkata Knight Riders again at some point because of something that Venkatesh Iyer did. But you all know about that, and we'll talk about it later. So yeah, good win for Sunrisers. Then we come to this weekend's cricket, and I, as an RCB fan, am very happy with how we went against Delhi Capitals. However, Delhi Capitals proving the point that they are the struggling team in this tournament.
Yeah, they made what was a bit of a haphazard batting performance from RCB look um, completely unattainable.
Yeah.
Like RCB didn't bat very well, I didn't think. They had glimmers. There were lots of starts, and some good signs, but it wasn't a very accomplished effort from the RCB batsmen. And credit has to be given to some of the bowlers for DC, but I think there were quite a lot of soft dismissals in there, especially Faf du Plessis going out to Mitch Marsh. Mitch Marsh shouldn't be really getting 2 wickets. It
He's
shouldn't be
not bad,
happening.
is he? But yeah,
He's not terrible, but when
Mm.
when there isn't that much pressure, I don't know. It shouldn't have happened. But DC just I mean, we had a CNQ the other day because I was talking about smelly innings, and Amar Reddy said, "What is a pong?" A pong refers. I think it's an English thing. It refers to a bad smell, and Delhi Capitals batting is something that amounts to a bad smell. You look at it and you kind of go, ugh.
Yeah.
And yeah,
Mm.
it's just I look at the scorecard and it makes me feel a bit ill. So I think we should move
Yeah.
on pretty soon. But I think villain wise, we've got everybody apart
Except for
from
Pandy and maybe Anrik Norkia.
everybody apart from Pandy, Nokia, and Kuldeep Yadav. I think
But
everybody
there,
else
there
is a
were
villain.
there were a few good things for Delhi in the Norkia looked a bit better with the ball. and especially bowling at the Chinnaswamy Stadium. For him to bowl that well, it shows a lot of promise. Kuldeep Yadav, having him in form, we said if he's out of form in the IPL, then that causes a lot of issues for that balance of the Delhi squad. So it was good for that. Also, Aman Khan, although he didn't last long, he looked okay and is probably someone who Delhi can look at as a finishing option moving forward. So that there are lots of positives for Delhi. They've got stuff to work with moving forward. It's just a shame that they're not quite getting the victories, although I'm glad they didn't get the victory in this game for obvious reasons. RCB, still a few questionable decisions. For example, having Anuj Rawat come in very low down the order at number 8. He's not that attacking a batsman. I would have preferred to see Hasaranga and Wayne Parnell batted above him just because they are that attacking cricketer and probably would have got us those extra 10, 15 runs that we probably needed. And then also, I was really happy with our bowlers, especially Mohammad Siraj, who is again firing really well in the opening overs, bowled beautifully. And Vijay Kumar Vishak on debut.
Yeah.
He's a great find because I know he was bowling against an underperforming batting lineup, but his slower balls were really effective. And he's a potential death bowling fix for RCB. So I'm not going to pin all my hopes on him, but he had a very good debut. And I'll just leave it at that.
Fingers crossed. Fingers crossed he could do good things. Yeah, don't want to put too much pressure on him though, because
no, definitely
fixing RCB's death bowling problems that's quite a responsibility for a young lad. There are a lot of problems.
Yeah.
Right, let's move on. Yeah, absolutely. Because it was redemption time for Punjab. And against Lucknow, a few kind of selection issues, because while Punjab did actually win a toss, hallelujah, first time this season, we didn't have any Liam Livingstone yet again, or Shikhar Dhawan, who'd picked up a bit of a shoulder injury. So it did mean that there was, I want to call it Punjab B team, because if you think about what Punjab lineup would have looked like at the start, like after the auction, with Bairstow, Livingston, Curran, and Rabada probably being your overseas, and in Darwin and all those sort of things. We've got Punjab B team against lucknowsupergiants, which is the Punjab C team, because it's all the discarded players.
It is.
Latter days, you've got Kale Rahul, Deepak Hooda, Nicholas Puran, Marcus Stoinis, Krishnappa Gautam, and Ravi Bishnoi. So, I mean, all players that I do have quite a bit of affection for, apart from maybe someone who did a pongy innings. So let's get into it. Zach.
Yes.
Early innings of the day, as it turned out, was the high scorer for Lucknow, Kale Rahul. What were your thoughts on his batting?
I don't mind Kale Rahul batting at a strike rate of 130, but he needs to then accelerate. And I think that's the thing we're not seeing from Kale Rahul, is he'll face 56 balls and then have a strike rate of 130. If he's faced 40 balls, then the last 20 balls that he faces, he needs to really go for it. That's when he's most effective. When he scored his big centuries in the IPL, it's because he's done that. He's been able to accelerate. However, I don't put all the blame on Kale Rahul. The man made 74. The next highest score was 29 by Kyle Mayers. So there are issues there for Lucknow. Nicholas Puran, when he fires, and Stoinis, when he fires, really effective. But there isn't much else, really. I know Kyle Mayers had a good start to the tournament, but he's kind of tailing off. Deepak Hooda hasn't played well at all. Krunal Pandya, he's more of a bowling all-rounder, in my opinion. So that there are issues there. And I think the way to solve those issues is to drop Deepak Hooda and promote Ayush Badoni to number 3, because I reckon he's a much better batsman in that position. So yeah, it's not all the blame on Kale Rahul, but there are things that Lucknow can do better. Sam Curran is looking great. I want to get your opinion on Harpreet Brar, because for me, he's been a lot better than last season, and he's kind of just steadily gone under the radar as being quite an effective bowler for Punjab Kings this season.
Yeah, Harpreet Brar's a really interesting case study, because he's been written down almost and categorized as an all-rounder for a fair period of time. And if you look at his batting stats, they're not good. So you kind of think, well, what's he doing? But as a bowler, if you think of him as an out-and-out bowler, you then have a commodity that doesn't really go for many runs on the whole. As a result, creates quite a bit of pressure. So we'll take the occasional wicket, and then can also bat a bit. And
he'll hit the odd six. Yeah,
exactly. He can give you that kind of bit of impetus if you're 7 down or whatever. And you're right, he has completely gone under the radar. Last season he had a bad season, but most of Punjab did, so you can't really blame him too much. And at the start of this season, I was a bit worried watching him bowl because his lengths were all off. But as soon as he gets his lengths right, he is absolutely outstanding. I want to say it was his IPL debut a few years ago, was against RCB.
And he played very well.
I think you might be a little bit scarred by this because I believe he got a hat trick, and it was Kohli, AB, and somebody else.
Yeah, he might not have got a hat trick, but he took three wickets. Yeah. Oh, it might be.
Maybe it was 3 wickets. I can't remember. Either way,
yeah, and he scored a very good innings. Yeah.
So yeah, I completely agree with you that he is somebody that is very I want to say underrated, but
he's
I feel
effective.
like he goes through phases of being underrated or overtrusted, and I think we're just about understanding where he should be now.
Yeah, he also bowls at the death in the Syed Mushtaq Ali Trophy. I don't know if you knew that, but he bowls at the death for Punjab in that tournament. But yeah, the rest of Punjab's batting very good. Matthew Shaw is looking a lot better at the top of the order. Sikandar Raza played a nice knock. He looked pretty good. And then Shahrukh Khan. I'll let you talk about Shahrukh Khan, finisher of dreams.
Yeah, honestly. So Shahrukh Khan is somebody that, I mean, I spoke about a little while ago. I think we had some comments about him where I was like, he's not worth the money at this point. However, if you are winning games in that respect, getting 23 off 10, winning a game, cool head, hitting Mark Wood for 6 first ball, things like that, instantly, you got to think of it from the management perspective. Okay. I think they shelled out, I could be wrong, I want to say about 9 crore for Shahrukh Khan. How much do you think the management are going to pay per match-winning performance like that? Is it 3 crore, 4 crore, something like that? So he only actually has to win a match like that 3 times, 4 times in a season before he actually you see his value and you get a return on investment. Because you play 14 matches in a season. I mean, that's what Punjab do. They never make it to the playoffs. So it's 14 matches in the season. So if he's getting you that certain amount of victories, then he's worth his money. And seeing him actually have impetus from the first ball, I think is where we see the best Shahrukh Khan. When he's trying to play himself in, he doesn't look too good. But when he's just swinging for it, I mean, the man is built like Kyron Pollard. He's absolutely giant. And seeing him smack it the way he did, and also taking 2 kind of, relay to himself catches on the boundary, which were brilliant, removed very important players. So he had a very good game, and I was very, very impressed. And just overall, the bowling of Punjab was absolutely excellent. The batting, we made it through without having any star batters. Sikandar Raza really stepped up, and he was the overall hero of the match. But yeah, I was amazed, honestly, that we managed to win with the Punjab B team.
Well, in my opinion, Shahrukh Khan is the sort of player who, when Punjab play RCB, they'll need about 60 from the last 3 overs, and he'll do it. He's that sort of player. So yeah, no, good win for Punjab, and it makes that table look really interesting. Everyone's on a similar amount of points, which is quite nice. So today's games, we finally got there. Let's get through them. Kolkata Knight Riders versus Mumbai Indians. Kolkata Knight Riders, no one really did anything other than Venkatesh Iyer, who scored a brilliant century and finally brought back the form that we saw a few years ago.
Yeah, it was so nice seeing him be the old Venkatesh, the Venkatesh that earned his retention from KKR. And 104, 9 sixes. Like, not only was it the fact that he got a century in losing cause, everybody's falling away around him. It
Mm.
was the fact that he did it with so much impetus and intent that KKR still made what is usually an okay total. Now,
Yeah.
Mumbai, they've kind of found their form a bit, and we'll go on to that. But 185 when the second highest scorer is a 21 is an incredible effort, and it's all down to Venkatesh Iyer. So I think regardless of what happens in the rest of the match at this point, Venkatesh Iyer has earned his hero status. He
Definitely.
was absolutely a hero of the match. And
Mm-hmm.
it's always a good feeling when you're in a dressing room and everybody else has failed and you're sitting there like, well, I did my job. Come on, lads, step up. So
Yeah.
he's earned that. He's earned his feet up in the dressing room. And yeah, Andre Russell did a good job finishing off as well. And I'm glad
Yeah.
that he's not injured because I really like
Yeah.
him in the
He's
IPL.
really important to
Yeah.
KKR, isn't he? Yeah.
But absolute hero for Mumbai was Piyush Chawla, who is he just the most unassuming bowler you've ever seen? Like
He's in my
you look at him
fantasy team.
you just don't expect him to do well. And maybe you do. You know something I don't. But going into this season, I had a little feeling about Piyush Chawla. I was like, he could do all right, even though
Yeah.
he absolutely shouldn't.
Yeah.
And one thing that bugs me is all the commentators are like, "Oh, well, rolling back the years, Piyush Chawla," and fair enough, he looks like he's 40, but I think he's younger than Kohli. So just like,
He's 34.
yeah, leave the lad alone. Like
He
he's in
is
his
younger than
prime.
Virat Kohli. Yeah.
So yeah,
He's
that's a bit
I
harsh.
think he's just been playing for a long time and looked the
Yeah.
same. It's kind of like Rashid Khan. He doesn't look like he's in his mid-20s, does he? Or
No,
even less than that. Yeah.
I think
But
he's 24. It's ridiculous.
yeah. But he's been bowling for a long time.
Yeah.
So yeah, Mumbai's response, because Venkatesh Iyer, it shows that one big innings isn't quite enough.
Mm.
Because Mumbai, everyone chipped in. You couldn't not give Venkatesh Iyer man of the match, but the rest of them just played incredibly well. Ishan Kishan, especially, finally producing an innings worth his price tag this tournament. Just went from ball one, looks like he did a few seasons ago when he was in his prime. Surya Kumar Yadav, he's
Oh,
back.
finally.
43 of 25. It's what everyone's waiting for. Give him the captaincy in future. He's great in that role. And yeah, the rest of them, like Tim David, played how they want Tim David to play, come in as in that finishing role and do well. So yeah, very very good stuff from Mumbai to finish that game. Kolkata Knight Riders bowling. Get Suyash Sharma in your fantasy team. He's only
Yeah.
about 4.5 credits. He's really cheap and he bowls really well. The rest of them, what did you think?
Oh, it's very haphazard, wasn't it? A lot of missing length. A lot of going the distance. Andre Russell, especially, he's a very hot and cold player. I said this about KKR. I sent a text to Zach earlier where I was saying KKR is just a team that is full of hot and cold players. They will either win you a match or they will lose you a match. And if all of them played to their absolute best, you would win every single match ever.
Yeah.
And at the same time, there are so many players that can just be absolutely awful. And like, seeing Sunil Narine going at 13.6 and over is bizarre. But there we go. Right, let's move
targeted,
on.
wasn't he?
He was targeted. Let's go on to the last match of the day, which was Gujarat versus Rajasthan, clash of some Titans against some Royals.
Yeah.
Where Gujarat lost a toss, have to put up a score, and they didn't seem too comfortable doing it. They didn't do terribly.
No.
But yeah, if you were going to name, and this is quite a challenge, if you're going to name one hero and one villain from each side, who's it going to be?
Could I do a hero batter and a hero bowler from each side?
Oh, go on then.
Because my hero batter from the Gujarat side has got to be David Miller, just for the fact that he is that glue that holds that middle order together. However, I'm gonna cheat a little bit and give a shout out to Abhinav Manohar, who haven't seen much of him this season, but he played a great knock to kind of get them up to that respectable score. Yeah, it's great to see him back in the team because he provides another excellent extra to that Gujarat side, who just seem to be very good in all departments. Who is your hero for the Rajasthan bowlers?
It's got to be Trent Bolt for his caught and bowled after after who was it? It was I can't remember now. It was definitely Sanju Samson and Shimron Hetmeyer and someone else, all just like collided in the middle. The ball bounced off one of them, and Trent Bolt caught it. It was very village, very beautiful. So yeah, Trent Bolt was absolutely
Best
outstanding for me. I thought Shimron Hetmeyer was brilliant. Sanju Samson also brilliant. I've cheated as well with this hero and villain thing. I don't care. And Dhruv Jarrell and Ravi Ashwin, all of them they'd produced a win where a win looked very unlikely. So yeah, that was very good to see. But at the start, Shami and Sharma and Pandya were absolutely hooping it. So it was brilliant from them.
For me, the villain of this game was Hardik Pandya. And I'll tell you why. Not from his performance with battle ball, but from his captaincy decision to not bowl Mohit Sharma, who has bowled really well at the death in the last game. He's bowled 2 overs for 7 runs. He may have had a niggle that we don't know about, that he said he couldn't bowl with it. But yeah, it meant that Alsari Joseph, he had an extra over that went for 16, where he was going at 16 and over overall. And Noor Ahmed got taken to pieces. And if Mohit Sharma had had those 2 overs, then it could have been a different story, potentially. So maybe they lost the game there. So for me, Hardik Pandya is a bit of a villain for that.
I completely agree. I think the bowling changes weren't actually that good. I think Noor Ahmad bowled brilliantly. To say he got 1 for 29 off 2.2. He looked really good, and it's a shame because he was only introduced really late on. I think he bowled the 15th over was his first over, and yeah, that's all. You're almost close to the death, and obviously bowling the last over didn't make much sense. So I completely agree with you. I think definitely have Mohit Sharma bowling at the death if over Noor Ahmad. Makes sense to me at least.
Yeah.
But yeah, it just, and the weird thing was that Pandya seemed like surprised when these runs were coming, but it was his own doing in a lot of situations. So, and bowling Mohammad Shami at the death, I personally don't think Mohammad Shami is that good a death bowler.
No,
he's a very, very good power play bowler, and he can be a very good middle overs bowler. But at the death, his go-to is back of a length and short. And I say this as someone that I've seen the double super over from Punjab versus Mumbai a few years ago, and obviously I've got a great affection for Mohammad Shami through that Punjab connection. But I still think that when it comes down to it, Mohammad Shami isn't the best option for bowling at the death.
No,
and maybe even as an impact player, why didn't they bring on like Josh Little? It's just there were questions there.
It makes you think though, because we are used to seeing Gujarat chase a lot of scores,
and
they're built for chasing because they've got the bowlers who bowl very well up front and in the middle to kind of restrict the team, and they've got the batters who have the sort of, I don't know if there's something in their heads which allows them to be mentally strong to chase any total really. But when you think about the other way around, their batsmen didn't really know how to pace it, and they don't really have any strong standout death bowler in there, do they?
No.
So yeah, there's a bit of an issue there. So I guess the way to beat Gujarat Titans is to win the toss.
Win the toss, yeah. But there we go. I think that's a good place to end. Thank you so much for watching, especially watching this marathon episode. If you
use
have
the timestamps,
definitely use the timestamps. If you have watched this far, not only are you a true cricket nerd, but you can let us know that you're a true cricket nerd by leaving the hashtag Benji sucks. That's That's the hashtag we're using. That's his. That's the revenge we get for him bailing on this podcast.
Yeah.
We do miss him. So
He's the real villain.
yeah, maybe leave some love for Benji as well.
Oh,
Thank
yeah.
you so much for the support. Don't forget to like and subscribe. You know that we do good content here, so why wouldn't you? You can also follow our social medias. It's in the link tree down below. You can also join our fantasy leagues if you feel like it. You'll probably still do better than me. And other than that, that's a good place to end, I think. So, yes,
Goodbye.
see you later, guys. Bye.